You are Locked On Heat Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Miami on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
What is up, Heat fans? Welcome to another episode of your Locked On Heat Postcast. My name is Jim Grieshaber. Call me Grease. And they are partying in the streets of Miami tonight. How about that? Art Basel going on in town right now. The traffic's crazy. You got the best team in the NBA coming in town tomorrow night. But tonight, your Miami Heat with a huge win at home over the Phoenix Suns, 121-111. Yeah, no Kevin Durant or Nurkic for the Suns. They're down 2 starters. And Miami looking to go above 500 again, which they did with a 10-point win tonight. And a good job all the way across the board, really, in the third quarter. They came out. They were down 5 at halftime. Came out in the third quarter, very aggressive, taking it to the rack. They weren't getting foul calls easily in this game at all. Weren't getting them in the first half, period. But Bam Adebayo took it upon himself, man among boys, in the third quarter, in the second half, to put this one away for Miami. A very efficient game for Tyler Hero and for Jimmy Butler, and a great job by the Miami Heat tonight. Again, 121-111. This is your Locked On Heat Postcast. My name is Jim Grieshaber. Call me Grease. Thanks for making us your first watch/listen here today. And obviously, you know, we're free here on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts, right? And that means Spotify. That means Apple Podcasts. That means iHeart, Stitcher, Podbean. Wherever you get it, you will find us and we will be free. How about that? You know what I mean? That's awesome, right? So after every Heat game, we're here. We're the official postcast for your Miami Heat on the Locked On Podcast Network. We're the post-game show, not to be confused with Locked On Heat day in and day out. Those guys do a great job covering the team, but we are the postcast and the post-game show, just like we are for the Dolphins, just like we are for the Canes. Painful not watching the Canes in the ACC Championship today. Just a terrible, terrible ending to the year. They're not even going to be in the playoff. They're going to be in the IDGAF Bowl. Whatever bowl that ends up being, we'll be on live after that one too. But the Dolphins with a huge one tomorrow against the Jets. Jets. All right, so there's a bunch of housekeeping. We want to get into what happened in this game. And, man, I will tell you what, tonight's show, before we do that, is brought to you by FanDuel. You can start the season with a big return on FanDuel. New customers can place a $5 bet. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. And one more thing, I want to remind you that your favorite podcast now has a newsletter. Speaking of Locked On Heat, daily newsletter, one stop for ultimate team and league coverage delivered right to your inbox. And you guys know, sign up for free now, LockedOnDaily.com. That's LockedOnDaily.com. Start your day with the all-new free Locked On Heat newsletter. And that newsletter is going to contain some things about Bam Adebayo when that gets released tomorrow or later tonight or whenever they do it, because a good game for the Heat Center. And you knew coming in against Phoenix with no KD, especially down there. And KD's not a defensive wonderkin by any means, but, you know, he's like a pterodactyl, 7 feet with those big, long arms, bothers a lot of shots, gets a lot of deflections and things like that. And for a guy like Bam at 6'9", you know, not having that extra big guy in the lineup is good for him, you know. And the Suns have Mason Plumlee, and they have Royce O'Neal, and they have a bunch of guys who can't do anything with Bam Adebayo, a bunch of guys who literally can't do anything with Bam. He's got the advantage in every matchup against whoever the Suns put on him. You know what I'm saying? Anybody the Suns put on Bam, he had an advantage, whether it be speed, whether it be quickness, whether it be his ability to shoot from the perimeter, take the big guys out, and do whatever he wants to do out there with them. And kind of like my computer's been doing lately. Literally unbelievable. But yeah, a good job for Miami. We'll take a look at the stats, obviously, in the segment of the show, as we always do, and we'll have our player of the game, our turning point, final score graphic, all that stuff is coming your way. But look at what happened in this game. And really for Miami, you know, with no KD for Phoenix, and they had lost 3 in a row to the Suns, by the way. They had lost 3 in a row to Phoenix, and I have pages of notes on every game. This is great, you know. And Bam Adebayo coming off a really good offensive game against the Lakers, and everybody on the Heat had a good offensive game against the Lakers to score 134 points. But in the first half, 58-53 Phoenix, and, you know, 29 in the first, 29 in the second for the Suns, 26 in the first, 27 in the second for the Heat. It was Royce O'Neal, Royce to 5'9". He was throwing threes up everywhere. Royce O'Neal had a big scoring half for the Suns, and he was their leading scorer in the game. We'll get to that box score a little bit later on, but Devin Booker and Bradley Beal really struggled tonight in this game overall. They were 4 for 16 combined in the first half. And overall in this game, they ended up 11 for 34, the two of them combined. And from three-point land with no KD, remember, Kevin Durant's out, Bradley Beal and Devin Booker go 1 for 12, and it was Booker who made the one. Booker ends up with 21 points, Beal with 15, but not a good night. For the other two stars, without KD, Bradley Beal has not shown up this year for the Suns, or in general, since they made the acquisition, to be honest with you. Duncan Robinson hit a three to start the game. We know he's streaky. That got him going. Ended up with 14 points in the first half. And nothing wrong with that for the Dunkmeister. He had a good game. Duncan had a good game. Ended up with a couple of shots in the second half. I think he ended up with 19 or 20. Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, Tyler Hero. That's who it was tonight for Miami. But, they had some things to clean up in the second half, because in the first half, you're outscored 13-zip on second chance points. You're actually doing well with the points in the paint, but you're not getting the fouls. And Miami, interestingly enough, they love to get to that free throw line. They only had 2 free throw attempts in the entire first half. That would definitely change in the second half. Did not get to the line at all, and they got outscored 14-5 off of turnovers. The Suns had made 4 more threes than Miami. Miami only shot 18 threes in the first half. So you go in the locker room and you're figuring, hey, man, there's a lot of stuff that needs to change in the second half of this game. And, to their credit, they made the adjustments. They did it, and I can just see it in that locker room with Spo just looking right at Bam and going, dude, this is you. This is your game. We're not getting the calls, right? Jimmy's not getting to the line, making a living there. Jimmy's not taking threes this year, by the way. He was 1 for 1 again tonight. Jimmy likes the lane. I don't know if you guys get that Seinfeld inside joke. But anyway, it really is something where you look at the Heat early in the year, especially at home. They had troubles in the third quarter. Not lately, but the Suns have. Their last 4 games, they'd been outscored by 48 points in the third quarter. That continued tonight, as Miami outscored them by 10, 34-24. So the Heat, as the Suns had 29 points in the first quarter and in the second quarter, Miami with 34 in the third and 34 in the fourth. In fact, the Suns had 29 in the fourth, so they had 3 quarters where they scored 29 points. Miami, though, 34 in the third, 34 in the fourth to put it away. They outscored them by 10 in the third and 5 in the fourth, and they wiped out that deficit. And it really started with Bam. Bam came out, got a tip. You know what I mean? It literally, he gets a couple of free throws. Jimmy Butler makes a 2. A lot of contact. Bam getting beat up, but he would not be denied. He kept attacking until he would get to that line and make those free throws. And, a 10-0 run for Miami made it 65-60. You know what I mean? And from there, they just started going with a 9-2 run to start the quarter. Bam is attacking, drawing fouls. He was only 4-10 shooting at that point, but 6 of 8 from the line about halfway through the third. And that's where things really changed for Miami. And Tyler Hero, though, didn't hit threes tonight, but he was very efficient from 2. Extremely efficient game. He's rebounding. He's got the assists. He's playing great defense. They started stealing the ball. They started getting the deflections, or as Jax was calling it on the audio experience, rips. They were just ripping the Suns all over the place. That would be a steal for those of you who don't know. But the Suns had a 4-minute scoreless stretch in the third as the Heat cranked up the defense. That's really what it was. They cranked up the defense. They started getting deflections. They started getting steals like they love to do, right? And then bam, 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 just attack mode in that third quarter. It was inspiring to watch Bam, the way that he played in that third quarter. So, and really, when it was a 19-4 run to start the third for the Heat. It was, you could put whatever numbers you want in there for the run, but Bam had 12 points and 8 rebounds in the third quarter at about the 4-minute mark. So the Heat with a 25-9 run, it just was a really, really huge third quarter for Miami, and Bam, who, did not do much at all in the first half. Bam Adebayo, who was 3 for 8, had 6 points in the first half, ended up being a huge, huge star tonight for Miami, and a big reason, the biggest reason probably why they ended up winning this game. Even though, Jimmy Butler, I'd love to hear it in the press conference, right? Jimmy Butler just not getting calls tonight, but when he gets to the line for the technical in the third quarter, he hits it, and made a couple of big 2s as well. Like I said, we'll look at the box score in just a couple of minutes, but really in the fourth quarter, after a huge third quarter for the Heat, Devin Booker started to make some shots, make a bigger impact, finger rolls, little jumpers, but not threes. And Bradley Beal was awful. So Royce O'Neal with another 3. He was good tonight for the Suns, but big mouth, man. He got called for a technical for running his mouth after making shots and hurt his team a little bit with that. But, it was nice to see Kevin Love getting on the act tonight with some rebounding. had 4 straight free throws on back-to-back possessions for Miami to push the lead to 7 at 87-80. And he got a little carried away, tried to shoot a 3 the next time down. But I love K-Love. They're a different team with him on the floor and just even in the lineup at all. Even if he can give you 10 or 15 minutes, they're going to be quality minutes from a veteran champion in Kevin Love, who can shoot, can rebound, still do all those things, got size, got length, good with the rotations, perfect heat guy, egoless type of player, and you love K-Love, a very good veteran in the locker room as well. And, the Heat were getting to the line, they were attacking more, and I've said that a bunch of times, but really in the fourth quarter, that was the difference in the game. And for Miami, they scored 34 in the fourth on top of 34 in the third. And when you do that and you're consistent with putting up points like that in the second half of games, you're going to win. And this is a playoff team. There's no Kevin Durant, right? But you still got Booker, Olympian, world-class player, one of the best shooters in the league, had a bad night. It's the Miami effect. Sometimes that happened. A little bit too much fun at Art Basel, maybe. You know what I'm saying? And the Cavaliers had just gotten there. They play Cleveland tomorrow, best team in the league right now. Cleveland getting there now into Art Basel, into Miami on a Saturday night at 11:30. You know what those guys do? They don't even check into their rooms at the hotel. I'm on to you, NBA players. I know exactly what they do besides the wine and something else we won't mention that's legal now, but they love their wine. And what a lot of the players will do is they'll get to a city like Miami on a road trip. Go ahead, Cavs, do it. Donovan Mitchell, hit the clubs, baby. They'll have limos waiting for the players at the hotel. They won't even check in. They'll leave their bags with the what do you call those guys? The bell captain, the bellman, and they'll have like stuff already arranged. They'll have limos waiting for them. They'll have tables at clubs. Go ahead, Cavs, have some fun, man. So a very evenly played game statistically for Miami and Phoenix tonight, except the Suns just forgot how to shoot in the second half. You're watching your Locked On Heat postcast. Jim Grieshaber. Call me Grease. I'm a little bit late to the break, and I didn't mean to be. That actually just kind of crept up on me pretty quickly. But when we keep going with your Locked On Heat postcast, we're going to take a look at the numbers telling the story of this game. A tale of two halves for sure for the Miami Heat. This is your Locked On Heat postcast. We take a look at the Cavs game tomorrow. They're out for Art Basel having fun. Go Cavs. Get some of that Miami experience for you. Flying in at the perfect time. Go ahead. But we will look at why Booker and Beal had such a bad night without Kevin Durant. You take him for granted with everything that he does. And a whole lot more. It's Locked On Heat postcast on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team that beats the Heat every day. And this gives me a chance to tell you about Robinhood. With Robinhood Gold, you don't need a silver spoon to eat up the financial favors of the 1%. Robinhood Gold allows others to get the rates and perks usually reserved for the high society. But now, the resourceful individual with Robinhood Gold can earn the very liberal rate of 4.25 APY on uninvested cash and be rewarded with a handsome 3% retirement boost on IRA account contributions. Robinhood Gold provides the privileges of a high net worth for any net worth. These generous benefits are now available for only $5 a month. $5 with Robinhood Gold. The new gold standard is here with Robinhood Gold. Sign up at robinhood.com/gold. Now, terms apply. For product-specific disclosures, visit robinhood.com/gold. Investing involves risk. Rate may change. Gold membership is offered by Robinhood Gold, LLC. Jim Grieshaber, call me Grease. Good win for the Heat tonight over a playoff team in the Suns and a team with championship aspirations. You know that, right? And the Suns had a bad year last year when they picked and bring in Kevin Durant, and you got Booker there already, right? The cornerstone of the franchise. Kind of like when you brought LeBron in and you already had Wade, right? But you also brought Bosh. Well, they also brought Bradley Beal, thinking they'd have their own big three in Phoenix, and it has been an unmitigated disaster for the Suns in Phoenix with that group. And, that changed somewhat at the start of this season, but now Durant's been out for the fourth. He's out for a week. He's got the ankle. Nurkic as well has got an issue, and he was out. Two of their starters out tonight for the Phoenix Suns. All right, Jim Grieshaber, call me Grease. Locked On Heat postcast, your official Miami Heat post-game show here on the Locked On Podcast Network. We have Locked On Heat day in and day out. Remember, we also have Locked On Dolphins, Locked On Canes, Locked On Marlins, and the postcast for all those. I'm the postcast guy. You have the day-by-day, and you everydayers know this, the Locked On Heat. They have the newsletter, right? So many great things going on, and this team is coming together. You can see it. You can feel it. You know that they have dogs. The leaders on this team are dogs. Bam Adebayo is a dog. He's not even a dog. He's a dog. You know what I'm saying? And Jimmy Butler, we know Jimmy's obviously a huge dog. And so is Tyler Hero. The thing about Tyler Hero this year, he took a big old dose of toughness in that offseason. And I'm not trying to put him down at all, say that he wasn't tough. But every year he's been getting stronger. The workouts have improved. He's always had great fitness and cardio. He could always shoot late in games. He's streaky. But Tyler Hero, with that strength that he's added this year, the weight that he put on, the defense, he's playing better. He's stronger later in games. He's not wearing down. He's faster, I think, and it's just been a lot of fun to watch him play this year. And you see Tyler right there on the screen behind me. Just look at that screen and roll with Bam and Tyler was deadly tonight for Miami. That's why I put it up there. That and there were only like 8 pictures to choose from with our media partner tonight. They're real slow getting them up. Hopefully they have them now because we still have the player of the game, the turning point, and that final score graphic for you tonight, Miami. And a big win for your Miami Heat. Shout out to Mike Biamani. Everyone who works for the Heat, it seems like, stays there forever, like day oneers, kind of like you guys, the everydayers of the Locked On Podcast Network. You guys are loyal. You're strong. You're here all the time. That's what a Heat employee is. All right, real quick for the visiting Phoenix Suns, nothing really. It was, well, you know what? We'll do the Suns first. Royce to 5'9", Royce O'Neal. In 31 minutes, had 23 points on 5 of 8 from three-point land, 8 of 15 overall shooting, and he led the Suns in scoring. Very efficient night for him, had 7 rebounds as well. And, you know, a nice night for the point guard, Tyus Jones, 13 points and 4 assists. But, man, off the bench, Monty Morris, 12 points, 2 of 4 from behind the arc, 4 of 6 overall in 19 minutes. And Grayson Allen, the former Duke star, you know, the antagonist, one of the great antagonists of the NBA, 5 for 10 shooting overall. They're all threes. 5 of 9 from 3. 16 points for Grayson Allen, the sniper for Phoenix tonight, but they didn't get anything from their 2 stars in this game. Bradley Beal was abysmally awful, as he has been for the most part with the Suns, and Devin Booker did not have a good game at all, and that's uncharacteristic for Book. He's a lot more efficient than this. He missed a bunch of shots, and they were terrible shot making in the second half. Bradley Beal was 5 of 18, 0 for 6 from 3. Devin Booker, 6 of 16, 1 for 6 from 3. In the first half, they were god-awful. I mean, in the first half, Booker and Beal were a combined, 4 for 16. And then overall in the game, 11 for 34. So it didn't get much better, but 5 of 6 from the line for Beal, 8 of 8 from the line for Booker. They end up with 21 Booker and 15 Beal, respectively. And we'll get to the team stats in a minute, and you'll hear some things as to why this game turned out the way it did as we continue with your Locked On Heat postcast. Take a look at the clock here. Let's see where we're at. Okay, we still got a couple minutes here. This is perfect for the Miami Heat. All right, the starters, Duncan Robinson, 19 points, had 14 in the first half. Hit the first 3 on the opening possession. You know how important that is for a shooter like him. Get that motor going. Hot start for the Dunkmeister. He ends up with 19 on 5 of 8 three-point shooting, 7 of 12 overall. How about Haywood Highsmith with 14 points, 4 of 6 from the line, getting to the line for Miami tonight, and 2 of 4 from three-point land. Jimmy Z. Butler, 1 for 1 from three-point land, but 9 of 12 from the floor for Jimmy. 7 rebounds, 4 assists, 24 points. 9 of 12 for 24 points is insanely efficient. His efficiency off the charts tonight. Jimmy Butler was incredible in this game, and you don't even see it. You don't even realize it. He just sneaks up on you, and you look, you're like, Jimmy has 24? Wow, it's incredible, and Jimmy had a great game. Tyler Hero, 17 points, 9 rebounds, 7 assists, coming close to a triple-double. You got to love the way Tyler and Bam have been stuffing the stat sheet this year with the assists, with the rebounds. Bam's a triple-double threat almost any night out. Double-double for sure almost every night. Bam with 25 points tonight. He had 6 at halftime. So 19 points in the second half, 25 overall, 12 rebounds, 8 assists for Bam, and an unbelievable game. 9 of 16 from the floor. And remember, he was like 0 for 4 to start the game. He was 8 of 12, or that's Tyler rather. Bam was 9 of 16 and 6 of 8 from the line in the third quarter when the Heat needed someone to just put them on his shoulders and get to work. Brought the lunch pail, started attacking, got to the line, even hit a 3 in this game. And great job by Bam Adebayo. But Jimmy, 9 for 12. Tyler, 8 for 12, man. When you look at that rundown up there on the screen and you see Tyler and Jimmy, 9 of 12 and 8 for 12 shooting. That is unbelievable for 24 and 17 for these guys. Tremendous job, tremendous efficiency. In fact, Booker 6 for 16. Usually it's Booker who's like, 11 for 16, and Booker's got like the 25, 26-point game with 15, 16 shots, which is what you want, right? You don't want 30 shots to get 30 points. You know what I mean? And we're not going to, name names. But yeah, Bam dominates. They're back above 500. Tyler and Jimmy. And no KD for Phoenix. You got Cleveland coming in tomorrow. Well, actually, they came in tonight. Art Basel, do your thing. Miami, work your magic. Let's go. I know they're going to go to 11s. They have to go to 11s, right? Go to 11s, Cav players. Go to 11. You know what I'm saying? Go to 11. You guys know what 11 is. 10s aren't hot enough to work there. Perfect place for the Cavs to go tonight. Everybody start drinking. Come home at 7 in the morning to your hotel and get ready to play the Heat tomorrow. It's a weird week for Miami, too, by the way, with the NBA Cup going on next weekend. They don't have a game for a bunch of days in a row. No Heat game. What are we going to do? And, of course, no Canes because the coaching staff blew it and they ruined Cam Ward's 1 year. I'm a little bitter, I don't want to say, as the college football championship games were today and Miami didn't play in any of them. But we do have Dolphins and Jets tomorrow. Oh, baby, 1 o'clock kickoff. The wheels have come off the plane in New York, man. The landing gear is not working. They can't even get off the ground, let alone the landing gear. I predicted it. Oh, I predicted it. I'm so proud of myself. I just definitely was all over that from the jump, just like I was when I said that that the Miami Heat will, and I believe this throughout the year, the Miami Heat will get better and better. You're watching Locked On Heat Postcast. Jim Grieshaber, call me Grease. I don't know what would ever give me that idea. They just continuously do it year in and year out. They find guys like Highsmith and you know what I mean? Just Heat guys, man, Heat culture, and they get it done. We are going to wrap this up. Un momento, por favor. You know what I'm saying? On the Locked On Heat Postcast, 121-111, the Heaters beat. Yes, the Phoenix Suns tonight, ending a 3-game losing streak to the Suns. Helps when Kevin Durant doesn't play. Jim Grieshaber, call me Grease on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day. And I get a chance to talk to you about FanDuel. Get ready to tackle the NFL action tomorrow with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, because right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, you can view live play-by-play, and you can do so much more on the same page where you place your bets. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Little pause for the cause and the programmatic ads there. Your favorite podcast now has a newsletter introducing the Locked On Heat daily newsletter. One stop for ultimate team and league coverage delivered right to your inbox. Sign up for free now at LockedOnDaily.com. That's LockedOnDaily.com and start your day with the all-new free Locked On Heat newsletter. It's a letter of news on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team, Miami, every day. Dolphins, Jets, big one tomorrow, 1 p.m. Yeah, we're going to be here live right after that game with this show, and that's going to be a lot of fun, too, because, man, oh, man, isn't it incredible, too, when you think about it? And I'm going to do a couple of things here while we continue the show, but it's incredible to think where the Dolphins are right now in the standings, where the Jets are. Literally a must-win for both teams to have any shot of anything, and I don't think the Jets are going to have any shot of anything anyway, and maybe the Dolphins won't either. Maybe it just is a little bit too late after everything that happened with Tua and all that. But, man, I swear, they don't have any pictures of Bam. Are you kidding me? Why no pictures of Bam, imagine? I don't understand that. No pictures of Bam, and we're trying to make him the star of the game. This is awesome. But, yeah, we're not going to get – I mean, Jimmy was really efficient in this game, like really, really awesome, though, Jimmy Butler. And just fantastic, actually. Just really fantastic with his efficient 9 of 12 from the floor. Tyler Hero's 8 for 12 shooting. I mean, just an outstanding job by those guys tonight. I mean, you can't ask for much better play. I mean, Tyler's had the big games. He's had the 30-point nights, and he's had that this year. He's been solid 24 a game. Tonight, he's 7 under his average. But, bro, come on. Tyler was so efficient in this game, and they extended the defense. The Suns came out taking away the threes. When you extend the defense and you push the three-point line, there's going to be a lot of backdoor cuts open. You're going to take it to the rack. The difference in the first half is Miami wasn't getting any calls. They weren't getting to the line, right? They were giving up points off turnovers. They were giving up second chance points like crazy. Those were the differences in the game. The Suns were shooting better and more often from three. And that was it, and then that completely turned around in the second half to where Miami ended up shooting 53% to 43 for the Suns. And from three-point land, they were about even 40 and 39, but Miami only shot 14 threes in the second half. They were 13 for 32, very low numbers for them. And, of course, Phoenix without Durant, 16 of 41 from three. The free throws, the Suns were 23 of 25, the Heat 18 of 23. And both teams making a living at the stripe tonight, but still in a 10-point loss, it didn't have much of an effect. Rebounds about even, assists about even, turnovers even. I mean, points conceded off turnovers even. Fast break points, 20-11 for Miami. But where the Heat won this game, it was efficiency from Jimmy and Tyler and Bam. When you look at the Heat's shooting, right, in the paint, points in the paint where the Heat normally get their asses handed to them, points in the paint. They outscored the Suns by 30, 62-32. Now, no KD, no Nurkic. KD's not going to be in the paint a ton anyway. But, that obviously didn't help. And you had no Jovic and no Richardson and no Larson for Miami. But, man, it just, just to see Jimmy go 9 of 12 and Tyler 8 of 12 and Bam was 9 of 16 after a horrible start shooting-wise. But Duncan Robinson, 7 for 12. And, interesting that Kevin Love's 3 for 10. But when you take Duncan 7 for 12, Jimmy 9 for 12, Tyler 8 for 12, each guy takes 12 shots. Bam took 16. So each guy takes 12 shots, right? And you make 7, you make 9, you make 8. That's incredible. That is absolutely incredible. 24 for 36 tonight for Jimmy, Tyler, and Duncan on a night when Bam has 25, 12, and 8. You're going to win a whole hell of a lot of games when that happens. This just in Heat fans. So the numbers tell the story and they don't lie. That's for sure. So here we go. We got we got a couple of things still to do. We got the star of the game and we got the turning point. And, it's going to be a lot of fun to do those tonight with the Miami Heat winning this game the way they did, 121-111 over Phoenix. And again, it was a 3-game losing streak against the Suns for Miami. A 3-game losing streak against the Suns for Miami. And, in general, when you're doing that sort of stuff, you're not going to, and I think I have this in here, when you're losing a whole bunch of games, there we go, to a certain team, obviously with Kevin Durant out, that's going to have a big impact there, right? It's not going to be all kicks and giggles without KD in there. And so when you are playing against a team like and I think I did this already, so I don't need to upload these now. Okay, so when you're playing against a team like the Suns, with Kevin Durant being such a focal point on their offense, and then Booker's getting the efficient points, whereas KD's the main scorer. He's one of the best shooters and scorers in NBA history. Of course, he's going to be, that guy. But when you're missing a guy like that on that team, and the other guys have to step up and take more shots, and it's not their role, even if they're great players, like Booker is a great player, right? We know how great of a player Booker is. Devin Booker is one of the best players in the league, right? There we go. Bam, Adebayo. Devin Booker, one of the best players in the league. And we're not even going to put numbers up there for Bam on this one. But, yeah, we have a picture of Bam setting the screen. That's about all we got tonight. And then the moment was Heat attack. Heat. Here, we'll get that in a second. Heat efficiency on defense as well, but we'll get that in a second. And then, of course, the final score is 121-111, Miami with the win. And a big win for them. You got to stay above that 500 mark, and you have to win your home games. And you have to beat a team like the Suns when Kevin Durant's out. You have to. You cannot let them sneak a win out of that. You just can't, because Kevin Durant being out, it upends everything the Suns trying to do. The long arms on defense, even, it's everything. It really is everything for Miami and for Phoenix. So when they're able to harass Booker and be all night long, it wasn't just Tyler and Jimmy efficient on offense. They were playing like dogs on defense too, getting deflections, out in transition, running. Their defense definitely set the tone for this game tonight. And then obviously the shooting and the scoring of Tyler and Jimmy to go along with Bam just attacking. So the efficiency, they didn't have to put up big numbers, Jimmy and Tyler, but the efficiency was just crazy in this game for these guys. And I'm going to go ahead and throw this one in here. What am I going to do? I'm going to throw Bradley Beal, I believe, in here. Yeah, we'll just do this. The moment will have to be the third quarter when the Heat come out and play defense like Heat attack. Heat win third quarter by 10 points. How about that? What do you guys think of that for the turning point? Heat win third quarter by 10 points. Bang. And they scored 34 points. Yep. So we're going to download these now, and then we're going to play that game with StreamYard, trying to upload them during the show, which is always fun, right? It's like a sport within the sport within the sport, like with sport within the show where we're talking about the sport. I don't know. I digress. So we download all these, and we'll throw these up there in a minute for you. But that's what it was, right? No KD in there. And that shooting of Kevin Durant might have carried the Suns down the stretch. And you had to win this game. That's the point. You got to win this game. And now you got a really good team coming in here tomorrow, a team you might face in the playoffs as a lower seed, right? You'd be the lower seed. Cleveland's tearing it up right now, and we got these all downloaded. So we're going to keep our fingers crossed that we can get these to you right here, right now. Hey, it's your tomorrow. And I'm sure they're happy at FanDuel. Kept that up there for a long time. So I hope you're enjoying the show. Locked On Heat postcast, a 10-point win, 121-111. Jim Grieshaber, call me Grease. Miami beats the Lakers, and then the Suns back-to-back. Big wins, right? LeBron comes back, has a huge game, 29 points in 29 minutes. Didn't matter. You smoked the Lakers. Anthony Davis had the Miami effect, 8 points in that game. Same thing with Devin Booker tonight. Don't you love, though, when these players, these great players come into Miami? Don't you? I mean, they very rarely do those guys have big games against the Heat in Miami because, it's literally the Miami effect. And if the Cavs get in there tonight, 11 p.m., you got Art Basel, got all the clubs. It's this time of year. The weather's nice. The big weekend in Miami, too, with a lot going on. Art Basel, you got the Dolphins and the Jets, and a huge game for them tomorrow. 1 o'clock kickoff. We'll be here right after that with your Locked On Dolphins postcast. As we continue with your Heat postcast right now, we're just about to give you the player of the game, the turning point, and the final score graphic before we get on out of here. I want to remind you, Locked On Heat, day in and day out. Podcast is awesome, and the newsletter, and then Locked On Heat postcast after every game. We're the official postgame shows of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your everydayers know this, your team every day, but a big win. Miami back over 500, and just a nice, their identity is always the same, right? Each team finds its identity, and I don't mean team as in the franchise. I mean each year it's a different team. Each player's different, even though some of the players are back, right? A completely different version of the team. But this Heat team is the same. They're always going to be dogs. They're always going to come at you. They're always going to play hard. I like the way the identity of this team is taking shape. If we see a lot more of this efficient play from Jimmy Butler, 24 points on 9 of 12. Tyler Hero, 8 of 12, 17. Didn't really shoot or hit threes tonight, Tyler, and that was why his number's below 20. But so efficient, and Duncan Robinson too. They all took 12 shots. Duncan made 7, Tyler made 8, Jimmy made 9. That's unbelievable. And Jimmy and Bam and Tyler are all stuffing the stat sheet with rebounds and assists, and they're playing really well together with Bam drawing the big guys out, and then Jimmy and Tyler attacking through the lanes, and Tyler will shoot threes, but he'll attack and dish it. That's a lot more of a new element of his game this year. Bam taking the big guys out up top. Tyler and Bam in a pick and roll, Jimmy and Bam in a pick and roll. You're developing a lot of options on offense. Highsmith's becoming a knockdown three-point shooter and defensive specialist, man. He's got 6 fouls to give against the best 2s and 3s in the league. I like the way the identity of this team is taking shape, and they're going to get a big test tomorrow, though, when those Cavaliers come in, man. And isn't it interesting to say, like you're talking about the Cavaliers? I wonder why LeBron hasn't gone back there yet, or if Kevin Durant didn't go back to Oklahoma City, those ring chasers. I wonder if they're going to be chasing rings back to those places. Meanwhile, just trying to get an idea here and give you a little preview on the Heat versus Cavaliers, man. This is a really, really good Cleveland team this year with Donovan Mitchell. Remember, they brought him in last year, and they had a really good season and a disappointing ending in the playoffs. Everyone has a disappointing ending in the playoffs unless you didn't make the playoffs or you win the championship, more importantly. But, Donovan Mitchell, 24.5 points a game. Those young guys up front, the Cavs are a 3.5-point favorite, by the way. The total's 224.5. And Wow, yeah, the over is minus 105, the under is minus 115, and on the money line, minus 155 for Cleveland, plus 135 for Miami. The Heat 11-10. Cleveland is 21-3. They are 21-3, man. And you got Strus there, the former Heater, obviously, and you got some injuries for that team right now. But these Cleveland Cavaliers they shoot 53.5%. They shoot the three. They play defense. They're going to be all over that floor. So hopefully Art Basel and the nighttime of Miami. Think about that. The nightlife in Miami will get the Cavs a little bit tonight, with Donovan Mitchell having a great year so far. And, we'll see what the Cavs are able to do. But Donovan Mitchell, legit superstar. Remember, it was he and Dame Lillard, and I think it's more like Donovan Mitchell now, and Dame's a little older in Milwaukee, and the Bucks are good too, really good, as a matter of fact. But yeah, it's interesting, man. There's a lot of really good things happening right now in Cleveland, and Donovan Mitchell is only averaging 24.5 a game. He's 16th in the league in scoring, but they have so much depth on that team. They have so much depth. They have big guys. They have youth, and they just come at you in waves, and they got some guys who can score. They defend, they rebound. So it's going to be a lot of fun with the Cavs coming in here tomorrow night to take on your Miami Heat. But after a 121-111 win over Phoenix, you beat the Lakers. All right, let's do these graphics and get on out of here. What do you say? It's Art Basel, for crying out loud. I love the word Basel, and I love the Art Basel event. It's just absolutely incredible. All right, here we go. First things first, I grease freaks all the honeys, dummies, Playboy bunnies, even those wanting a win from the Miami Heat. 121-111, they beat the Phoenix Suns. Look at Jimmy Butler. Look at that form on the jumper. Grayson Allen has no chance. I love putting it up there because everybody hates Grayson Allen, but look at the form on Jimmy's J. Look at the form. Look at the way his body is literally just lined up with the elbow up, the hand under the ball, the other hand guiding it, everything picture perfect, symmetrical with the form there for Jimmy Z. Butler, who was 9 of 12 for 24 points. Hard not to give him the player of the game, 7 rebounds and whatever, but Bam had a bigger night, so we will get to that. Un momento, por favor. First, these are the moments I thank God when I'm a Heat fan. This is right here. The moment Heat win the third quarter by 10 points. They had 34 in the third, 34 in the fourth. Offensively, attacking, and defensively surrounding poor Bradley Beal. Yeah, poor Bradley Beal. Right. The guy couldn't get anything done offensively. Booker had a terrible shooting night too with no Kevin Durant. The Heat just harassed Booker and Beal all night long. Look at them surrounding Bradley Beal there. And that is a big part of why they did what they did. That Bam attacking on offense, getting to the line, Jimmy and Tyler's efficiency, and then the defense that they played, deflection, steals, hounding, harassing Bradley Beal and Devin Booker all night long, to where O'Neal was the leading scorer on the Suns. And Bradley Beal seems like it just hasn't worked out for Phoenix. Last things last, here we go. Before we get on out, the star of the game is Bam Adebayo. There we have him setting the screen. We couldn't get a better picture from our media partner there, but Bam with a beautiful screen. Tyler coming off of it. A big part of the reason why Tyler's been so efficient and Jimmy's been so efficient is the screening of Bam Adebayo. We're not just talking about him scoring in the 20s and getting double digits rebound, another double-double for Bam, almost a triple-double with the assists. He had 7 or 8 assists, but we're talking about a guy who sets lethal screens. Look at that screen he's setting. Look at that screen. That defender has no chance of getting by Bam. Tyler's going to be freed up there. Bam will roll to the hoop. There's so many things that sets up. So it isn't just the scoring when Bam gives it to you. People are saying, why doesn't Bam score more? He's an Olympian. He's a star. We need Bam to score more. He does so many other things that you don't even see. And those screens, look at that knee out. You go ahead and run into that knee with your thigh and tell me how that feels when Bam's 6'9", 270, 280, whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? So that's the type of impact that Bam Adebayo has on a game, and he is the star of the game tonight. 121-111. The Heat beat the Suns tonight in Miami. Next game's tomorrow. The Cavaliers coming to town, 6 o'clock tip, right after the Dolphins game, 1 o'clock kickoff. So we got a busy day. Dolphins postcast, Heat postcast right here tomorrow, and then next week. Yeah, I know, no Miami Hurricanes, but another big Dolphins game as down the stretch they come, and they've been playing really well, minus the first half in Green Bay last week, but they've had a lot of time off to heal some injuries, to get some guys back. Tyreek's banged up. There's a lot of things the Dolphins can do, and they can make the Jets just go literally crash into a mountain tomorrow, and their season's over. So that's it for Miami. And a big win for the Heat. You got the Cavs, best team in the NBA, record-wise, coming in right after that. So Dolphins, Jets, Heat, Cavs, big sports day in the MIAO tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to be all over that right here with your Locked On Postcast. Jim Grieshaber, call me Grease. Really appreciate you being here every day. We love you, the everydayers. If you're just finding us, welcome. Please smash that subscribe, hit the bell so you know when we're bringing you more content, and get involved. Like, get in the chat room and talk to us a little bit. Let us know what you're thinking. Try to get to those comments as best we can throughout the show. But a big day tomorrow. Dolphins at 1 and the Heat at 6. We're coming right after with the postcast. Thanks to the sponsors, and thank you so much for being the best part of our network, for being here, watching me, and listening to me here tonight. Once again, your final score, 121-111. The Heat beat the Phoenix Suns. They snap a 3-game losing streak against the Suns back-to-back after they beat the Lakers a few nights ago, and they are now, again, 1 game above 500 with the Cleveland Cavaliers coming to town tomorrow. Keep your game tight and your mind right, Miami. 121-111. The Heat win. I'm Jim Grease, GRIES, @JimGrease_ on social media, and I am out.